The diplomatic tensions between China and Taiwan go back decades, to before World War II and the rise of communism in China. Recently, however, Russia's invasion of Ukraine has thrust Taiwan back into the spotlight, with some wondering if Putin's invasion has Beijing contemplating its own aggressive move against the tiny island nation. And it has once again prompted the question, could or would China invade Taiwan? China claims the democratically ruled island as its own and carried out military exercises around the island this past summer, firing missiles and flying drones nearby. But to understand what has led to this point, we need to take a quick look back at Taiwan's history. Taiwan was self-governing prior to the 1600s and was taken control of by China in 1683. This rule by the Qing dynasty lasted 2 centuries until the Sino-Japanese War saw China turn Taiwan over to Japan for the next 50 years. But when Japan lost the Second World War, Taiwan was returned to Chinese control under the rule of the Republic of China's Chiang Kai-shek and his Nationalist Party. Yet China felt the impact of an ongoing civil war, a war between communists and nationalists that saw Chiang and his nationalist supporters flee to Taiwan. And this is why the world now has the People's Republic of China and the Republic of China, most well known as Taiwan. For decades, China has maintained Taiwan is part of its territory and seeks reunification, while the island behaves like its own independent nation. Recently, Taiwan's President Ing-wen said they would not engage in dollar diplomacy with China, and their cooperation with allies to promote international security would only increase.
In our efforts to protect our way of life, Taiwan is grateful to have the United States of America by our side.
China has long maintained its stance that Taiwan would reunify, with its foreign minister saying they still had the option to take all necessary measures to achieve reunification. Were an invasion to happen, Taiwan can likely count on support from the United States. President Joe Biden reiterated his country's support late last year following a meeting with Chinese President Xi Jinping, though he added he did not think an invasion would happen.
I absolutely believe there need not be a new Cold War, and I do not think there's any imminent attempt on the part of China to invade Taiwan.
And in February, it was reported the U.S. planned to expand its number of troops in Taiwan to help train their forces. Last fall, Xi said he would not postpone reunification forever, once more raising the question, what would happen? Kurt Tong with the Asia Group says both countries each have their own red lines.
The solution has been for China to say that they believe in the inevitability, but not the immediacy of reunification, and for the United States and its allies to say that they insist on the fact that China should not be able to solve it unilaterally.
While the US, Canada, and many other countries have not backed independence, under the Taiwan Relations Act, the US is obligated to ensure Taiwan can maintain a sufficient self-defense capability.
China is assured that the United States is not actively trying to prevent it from ever having a possibility of Taiwan rejoining China. And at the same time, the United States is helping Taiwan to deter an attack by giving it military capability to do so.
Scott Simon, chair of Taiwan Studies at the University of Ottawa, says while there are many potential scenarios, an invasion by China would be a daunting military prospect.
I think that the trajectory here of that Taiwan is independent and has economic relations with the world, including with China, is something that will continue. And so I think that in the best scenario, that things would just calm down a little bit. The news cycle will end and people will move on to other things, and everybody on both sides will calm down.
And unlike Ukraine, which is connected by land to Russia, China would have more difficulty due to Taiwan being an island.
They actually have to ship troops and supplies over by boat or by air, and those are both different scenarios. But if they try to send them by ship, all of these ships are going to be big targets for missiles from Taiwan because they do have their own military. The Taiwanese will know what's going on. They'll be able to put mines in the waters. There's already a lot of obstacles in the way.
Simon says an invasion by air is also difficult as the landing zones Chinese planes would have to land on to refuel or reposition are already controlled or would come under fire by Taiwan. This allows Taiwan to continue governing itself, keep up trade with China, its biggest trading partner, and avoid a potential war. Tong says the likelihood of an invasion, while not impossible, does not appear likely because of the military ability China would need to build.
The attacker has to have more capability than the defender. It's just that's the way it works.
China would also have to think of the implications it would have globally. After Russia was left a global pariah due to its war in Ukraine, China may need to be careful of its own actions to avoid becoming isolated as well. Sean Previl, Global News. Thanks for watching Global News. If you're interested in more national and international news, be sure to subscribe to our channel.